weather flow. It includes all the types of wastewaters, domestic, industrial. It can be a little bit of subsurface water seeping into that, etc. The wet weather flow will be a combination of this along with storm water. So when we say storm water, it is the runoff that is seen from surfaces. So if water has to flow away from surfaces, those surfaces should have certain characteristics of imperviousness. The more the impervious the surface is, the more the runoff will be. And we also saw about two methods for estimating the stormwater. One which is the rational method and the other which was called as empirical methods. And then we also saw what is meant by time of concentration, where it is the time taken to reach the maximum flow at a point in the sewer. So it is composed of two components, the time of entry and the time of flow. A combination of these two together will give you what is called as time of concentration. So coming to the next topic, it is about materials of sewers. So we know that a sewer is an underground pipe or drain or conduit, we can call it anyway, through which sewage is conveyed from the point of discharge to the point of disposal. That is the definition of the term sewer. Now, actually, when we look at it, sewers can be of different types of, or sewers are used for different categories or purposes. The main sewer, which we see on our main roads, which is connecting, say, suppose you have a sewerage, a system which is covering a local area, all those sewer lines which are connecting that area will all take the wastewater to a main sewer which is located on the main road. Such a type of sewer will be called as a main sewer, and it is also referred to as trunk sewer. So this term, a main sewer or trunk sewer, refers to one of the larger sized diameters of sewer pipes, and it receives the sewage from many branched sewers. So suppose in a layout there are so many connections given to different buildings there. All of them will be connecting it to a particular sewer line, and all these branch sewers will all get connected to the main sewer. Okay, so that sewer diameter or dimensions will be comparatively larger than what is used to connect to a particular building, or which is present in a particular lane of a layout, etc. Now we can use another term which is called as a branch sewer, or we call it as sub-main sewer also. So main sewers are there, sub-main or branch sewers are there. Branch sewers will usually receive the sewage from a relatively small area. So, and say for example, you have one or two streets or area in that layout that will be connected to a branch sewer. Now, each line that comes to your road or your street, that can be referred to as a lateral sewer. So now I gave you three terms: the trunk sewer or the main sewer, the sub-main or the branch sewer, and the third one is a lateral sewer. So we studied about a separate system, combined system of sewerage system, etc., where it is a network of the sewer lines. So here we are trying to find out what type of pipe materials have to be used. But when you decide a pipe material, it also has to take into account what is the quantity of the sewage that is going to be flowing through these sewers. And hence we need to understand that the sewers will be carrying wastewater or sewage of varying volumes based on whether it is a main sewer, whether it is a sub-main or a branch sewer, and whether it's a lateral. So based on this, the sizes of the pipes will also change, and the material of which the sewer is made up of will also be designed based on this. Now, based on all these factors, we will decide what type of pipe materials can be used. So now let us look at what are the pipe materials of which the sewers can be made up of. The first one is the asbestos cement pipes. You know that asbestos cement pipes are or were very commonly used some years earlier. They are made up of asbestos fibers and cement. But before we select a particular pipe material, we have to look into certain characteristics. Now, what characteristics would be important for selecting a pipe material? First, or the first thing will be the efficiency or hydraulic efficiency of the pipe material, so that you have you remember in your velocity of calculation, both in your hydraulics, you have studied about Chessie's formula and Manning's formula. So there you had in Manning's formula a coefficient which was called as Manning's constant N. So hydraulic efficiency should be such that this coefficient is as low as possible. That is one important factor before we select a pipe material. The second one is resistance to abrasion. Why resistance to abrasion? Because these materials or solids which are present in the pipeline are going to become always rubbing against the surface of the pipe material. And as the water flows in huge volumes, so the wastewater flows in huge volumes, carrying a heavy load of silt and other particles, and when velocities are high, these small particles can act like sandpaper, constantly rubbing against the surface. And this will cause the surface to get eroded, and over time, your pipe material will start developing cracks. So resistance to abrasion is a very important property of any sewer material. The next is corrosion. You know that all types of wastewater will contain many types of salts, alkalis, acids, even chemicals. Okay, because industrial waste will have a huge number of chemicals which have been flushed out through the wastewater. Domestic waste, the chemical content may be less, but there will be a lot of alkalis, acids, and things like that which can get into the sewage. So because of the presence of high content of salts, alkalis, acids, or even during the decomposition of the waste, acids are being developed within the pipeline. These can all cause small amount of corrosion beginning inside the pipeline, and as time passes, when your surface of the smooth surface of the pipeline becomes rough or get small abrasions on them, deposits start developing on the surface. For example, one common deposit that sometimes we observe even at home in our drains and our kitchen sink or things like that get clogged is because of oil and grease and fat. Okay, so these things, whenever the surface becomes a little rough, it will start attaching itself, and slowly growth of matter will start attaching onto this surface, and because of that, the diameter or the carrying capacity of the pipe becomes affected a great deal. So resistance to corrosion is a very important property that any pipe material should have. So we talked about hydraulic efficiency, we talked about resistance to abrasion, we talked about resistance to corrosion, and the next is strength of the pipe. So sewers, you have the main sewers which are carrying huge volumes. You have the branch sewers, which may have little less, and the laterals, which may be carrying smaller amounts. But even for carrying small amounts of liquid over long durations of time at a certain velocity, the strength of the pipe should be sufficient. And not only that, since we are burying these pipelines below the ground, okay, there is going to be moving load over them. For example, these pipes are laid by the side of the road, okay, or in the case of main road, sometimes it can be even at the center of the road, and then you have the road laid over that. So if there is moving load over that, the strength of the pipe material should be such that it doesn't get crushed. So that should be the property of strength of the material. Next comes the durability of the material. The durability of the material should be such that it lasts for a long duration of time or a long period of time. The sewer material should be durable so that you don't have to replace the sewer once in a few years' time, because it is a very costly process and it is a very cumbersome process. So if your pipe material is durable, you will not have to keep changing it once in a while. And the next is cost. So for any municipal corporation or whoever is taking care of laying down the wastewater network, the cost becomes an important factor deciding what type of pipe material will be chosen. Okay. The next will be the weight of the pipe, because these are long lengths of pipelines that have to be laid over a large area. So you will require heavy equipment and things like that while lifting and laying these pipes. So the weight becomes an important consideration while transporting or laying the pipeline. And one last factor, though we have talked about it many times, is imperviousness. Imperviousness is the prevention of liquid from inside the pipeline seeping out of the pipe material or from the surrounding soil seeping into the pipe material. So your pipe material should be as impervious as possible. We talked about how dry weather flow can be affected by seepage of surrounding water into the pipeline or losing of the wastewater from the pipeline, which we usually attribute to the joints or valves or fittings which are coming on the sewer system. But if your pipe material is not impervious enough, you can be losing or allowing water to enter because of the porosity of your pipeline also. So these factors, what I told you just now, will be repeated in terms of advantages and disadvantages in many of these pipelines. So broadly, when I say materials for sewer, it will be decided upon various factors as to what type of sewer, whether it is a main, a sub-main, or a lateral, whether the hydraulic efficiency is to be considered for a material, the resistance to abrasion, resistance to corrosion, strength of the material, durability of the material, cost that you can spend on the material of the pipe, the weight of the pipe of a particular material, how impervious the material is. All these factors will have to be considered. So now coming back to asbestos cement pipes. Asbestos cement pipes are usually made from a mixture of asbestos fibers, cement, and silica. The asbestos fibers are the material which is actually the reinforcing material in this case. So these materials are the fibers which are strengthening the cement paste in that, and your pipes are manufactured in that material. So these pipes are usually available in large sizes, okay, and these pipes have many advantages. The first one being that these pipes have got very less weight compared to many of the other materials. So hence it becomes very easy to carry and transport them. And because the material can be cut very easily, if they need to make joints in the pipelines, they can be easily cut and the joints can be made. These pipelines have got very smooth inner surface, and because of which their hydraulic efficiency is very great. So earlier times, we used to have these asbestos cement pipes for most of our drain pipes. Now, mostly you will see it for the rainwater harvesting pipe, or the rainwater drain pipe that comes from your rooftops. Most of the other cases, this material, because first of all, these asbestos fibers give a lot of pollution and a lot of problems in terms of health. So many of these manufacturing units have actually shut down, and these pipes, you won't find them as they were seen earlier, but they did have certain very good advantages. But they have a few disadvantages also. They are brittle, and sometimes when lifting, handling, or transporting is being done, these pipes can develop cracks. And because of that, careful inspection should be done before they are actually put into use. They have less structural strength against external loads. So compared to some of the other materials, when you lay large diameters of this below the ground, we have to be very careful because there is a chance that these pipes could get crushed. And though they are resistant to corrosion to most type of liquids, they are susceptible to sulfide corrosion. And because of that, they have the disadvantages that when they are used in certain places where acids are coming into the wastewater mode, or natural soil has got a lot of sulfide or such content, it gets affected. So that is about asbestos cement sewers. The next is brick sewers. Brick was a very common material that was used, which was used to carry the wastewater in very old cities also. Because brick is a material that is made of clay and which is burnt in kilns or clamps, and they can very easily done at the place of the site where you need to do this laying. So bricks were very common at a particular time, but nowadays, first of all, getting very good quality bricks itself is difficult, and because of that, they have almost become non-existent. So in the new age pipelines, you will not see them, but sometimes in the old cities and even in little more ancient cities, this was a common means of building the sewers. So this material can be used for construction of large sized sewers. So in old cities where they didn't separate out the extra wastewater from the sewage, we see this type of sewers. And because the brick has got a number of joints on them, you need to plaster these bricks on the inside. Otherwise, what will happen is there are chances that seepage can come, and you cannot have the plants or roots of trees, etc., growing into the sewers. So sometimes even in concrete sewers, we will observe that if there are cracks and things like that, trees, their branches, their roots enter through these gaps, and once these roots are pushing through the small cracks or joints in them, when they suck in the moisture, they swell, and these gaps will be pushed apart, and ultimately the sewer line becomes completely damaged. So that is a common problem that is usually experienced with brick sewers. The next is cast iron. So in case of cast iron sewers, the pipes are stronger and they are very much capable of taking heavy loads. Hello. Sir, I'm in class. Can I call you back? So these pipes are very strong and capable to withstand high tensile, compressive and other bending stresses. But these materials are very costly, and cast iron pipes can be used for the outfall sewer, that is the section of the sewer which goes near the disposal. Okay, they can be used for rising main from the pumping station. Whenever you have a pumping unit, the pipe that takes off from there, that section of the pipe will be called as rising main. Even in the case of water supply, that section of the pipeline will be called as rising main, where the pipes are usually under high pressure. So because they are very much capable of withstanding high tensile and compressive and bending stresses, wherever they expect high pressure flow, you can use the cast iron sewers. These are also suitable where you have heavy traffic, especially highways, by the side of roads, or wherever you expect more traffic. They can be also used for carrying it over piers where there are low-lying areas. So sometimes in some places you would have seen that large sewer lines or even water lines, sometimes they build piers and then over them the pipeline will be taken. So that will be because there is a marshy or low-lying area at the bottom, and because they don't want the pipeline to get embedded in that marshy land, they will build structures or piers over that, and the pipeline will be taken over them. So they are used for such purposes, and they can be joined in such a way that you can make the pipeline as water resistant as possible. So the system in which cast iron sewers are joined are usually the sewer lines will come with flanges cast along with the pipeline, and two flanges will be brought face to face. A rubber gasket will be put in between them, and if tightly they are bolted, not with nut and bolt, then this joint will become very watertight. So you can have 100% leak-proof joints in the cast iron sewers. They had little less resistance to corrosion, and usually because of that, they give a small lining. Epoxy lining has become very prominent now because epoxy will last for a long time. Usually such type of pipes, in order to improve their resistance to corrosion, they will be lined with epoxy so that they will last for a longer period of time. So in terms of strength and the usage, they are very good, but they have a little less resistance to corrosion, hence you need to provide the lining for them. Now, plain cement concrete or reinforced cement concrete. Finally, under the head of concrete, everything can be told together. Plain cement concrete pipes are usually in the proportion of 1:1.5:3, okay, and they are available to 45 centimeter diameter pipes, whereas if you reinforce these pipes, you can create them in very large diameters. Now, these pipes can also be made cast in situ, or they can be precast. So nowadays, since precast has become much cheaper than what it was earlier, precast pipes have become very common. The reinforcement can be as a single cage of reinforcement. So reinforcement will be used in terms of bars, or sometimes there are reinforcements that are done in the form of mesh also. Okay, understood? And they can be used for large diameter sewers which are subjected to huge external pressure. So they can be created either with a mesh of steel, or you make a reinforcement cage and then it is concreted, and you can have very strong, very resistant, and pipes which can be built for longer lengths. These are some of the advantages and disadvantages. These pipes are strong in tension as well as compression. They are resistant to erosion and abrasion. So because these pipes are, even if you are making them precast, you can make them very smooth in the inside also. They can be made of any decidescent. That is because you are adding steel to them and reinforcing. So if you want it to become stronger, probably you will reinforce it with better or more quantity of steel, and hence you will be able to achieve better strength. They can be either molded at site, or they can be precast and brought to the site and put in place. For large diameter pipes, they are especially economical compared to metallic pipes, which need to be made for large diameters. It is very, very common to see that precast concrete pipes are replacing many of the other metallic pipes because of the cost involved in production. These pipes are available in a wide range of size, and you can do the maintenance of the sewers also quite easily. Now, the only problem with concrete pipes is that they can be attacked by sulfuric acid or sulfates also, and their carrying capacity gets reduced over a period of time if corrosion is happening. So what happens? Pitting happens in the surface of the concrete, and it will start developing small holes like on the surface. And once these holes are developed, you will see that over a period of time, material deposition starts taking place, and finally the carrying capacity of the pipeline gets affected. These pipes are also susceptible to erosion by sewage containing silt grit. That whether it is for any material, metallic or concrete or asbestos, whatever it is, over a period of time, because it is carrying huge quantity of solids within them, there is every chance that silt or grit can rub against the surface. Coming to plastic. Now, in plastic, first let me tell you, there are three different types of plastics. There is low density polyethylene, which we call by the term LDPE. And LDPE is not a good material to carry wastewater. But in some places where there is very less flow and people are not willing to put too much money into that, some individual houses, component parts of the sewer pipes will be of LDPE. Otherwise, LDPE is not preferred at all. The second category of plastic that we have is called as the high density polyethylene pipes, and these are used in case of sewer pipes, but they may not be able to be as durable as PVC pipes, because these pipes, strength wise and resistance to corrosion wise, they are much more popular than what our normal plastic pipes are capable of. Hence, we have seen that PVC pipes have almost taken over all types of water or wastewater pipes because of the adaptability of this material to bending, creating joints, their resistance to corrosion, availability in varied sizes. PVC pipes, you will see them in varied sizes, and to make them airtight or watertight joints, it is very easy to be, it can be very easily done, because cutting, bending and creating those bends, joints, etc. are very easy in this pipe material. So PVC is a recent material that has been, now it has been there in use for quite some time. They are available in very large sizes also. They offer a very smooth internal surface. They offer resistance to corrosion. They are light in weight, and they are also economical. So many of the advantages of the properties that we were talking about earlier are present in these pipes. Maintenance also is very easy. This pipe is tough, rigid, fabrication and transportation is easy. So if you need to do any servicing of the pipeline, cutting a section of the pipeline and replacing it is also pretty simple, because the pipe material can be very easily cut, removed, new joints created and can be put in place. So high density polyethylene pipes can also be used. They are not brittle like AC pipes and other pipes, and hence hard fall during loading, unloading and all will not cause any damage to them. They can be joined by welding or can be used with detachable joints. Now coming to steel sewers. These sewers are used where you want lightweight material, imperviousness and high resistance to pressure. Again, the same where you have the rising main. Understood? So compared to cast iron, the steel will be slightly cheaper and it is lighter compared to cast iron. Cast iron will be very heavy. These sewers are flexible and can absorb vibrations and shocks effectively. They are mainly used for trunk or outfall sewers. They can be used under situations where there is high pressure, such as in main sewers, under water crossings, bridge crossings, wherever there is connections to be made with the pumping station, because near the pumping station the pressure will be very high. So the pressure inside the pipeline will be very high. Laying the pipes over supporting spans where railway crossings are there, etc. So steel sewers are also preferred in such cases. They can withstand internal pressure, that is the pressure of the water which is inside the pipeline. They can also withstand pressure from external loads, and sometimes when we are laying it very close to railway lines, etc., the movement of even vehicles or the train when it is moving over the track causes a lot of movement or vibrations in the soil, and this will cause the vibrations in the pipes also. So if such types of vibrations are there, then these pipes can withstand them. Okay, and water hammer, you have already studied about this in your hydraulics. Okay, the negative pressure, that is, there is a valve that is present in the pipeline and suddenly some closing of the valve happens, then the velocity with which the wastewater is flowing gets suddenly blocked, and this will cause backflow to happen in the reverse direction with a lot of noise and pressure, and which will cause like a hammering effect inside the pipeline, and this will cause the bursting of the pipeline. It can be very much avoided in the case of steel sewers. These pipes cannot withstand external load, and these pipes may collapse when negative pressure is developed in the pipelines. And they are also susceptible to corrosion and are not generally used for partially flowing sewers. So full sewer, when the sewer is flowing full and when there is high pressure in the sewer, it is desirable to use the steel sewer. But unlike the cast iron or for that matter concrete or anything, steel is much more susceptible to corrosion. So there is a problem. Again, for corrosion resistance, they can apply any sort of lining in the inside, but there are so many other plus points to that. So steel can also be used for these purposes. Now the vitrified clay or stoneware sewers. These are some of the sewers that probably many of you may not have had a chance to see, because this type of material started being phased out over some period of time. Vitrified, it is clay, it is made of clay, but these are burnt to very high degree with a glazing compound applied, so that the material comes out like you can't call it terracotta, a little more darker shade of brown with very smooth inside and outside surfaces. So at one point in time, this vitrified clay or stoneware was very, very popular. These pipes were used for house connections as well as laterals. But nowadays, even in your houses or neighboring buildings, you will not find this material anymore. Almost everything has got replaced with PVC. But it was a very much used material earlier. In rural areas and semi-urban areas, this material will be still popular because it is made from clay, and so the cost wise its cost will be comparatively less for when you are using it in the rural areas. So you can have pipe diameters varying from 5 to 30 centimeters and lengths up to 1.2 meters. The method in which these pipes are connected are bell and spigot joint. If you remember, in water supply also we talked about bell and spigot joint. That is, one end of the pipeline will be cast with a bell-like or a wide mouth at one end. The other end of the pipe will be as plain normal pipeline. So the plain end of one pipe will be inserted into the bell end of the other pipe, and this joint will be tightened by using flax and some material which will tighten the joint. So these type of joints are called as bell and spigot joint, or socket and spigot joint also they call it. The advantages are resistance to corrosion, hence fit for carrying polluted waters. Interior surface is smooth. It is a glazing compound is applied. Like all of you know how terracotta is being done, right? A glazing compound will be applied on the clay so that you have a very smooth and glossy finish. So that is the finish that a stoneware pipe will have. The pipes are highly impervious, strong in compression, not in tension, but strong in compression. These pipes are durable and economic when they are used for small diameters, and creating large diameters of these pipes are also very costly. So it is a little uneconomical when you want to build large diameters. The pipe material does not absorb water more than 5% of their weight when immersed in water for 24 hours. It just talks about the imperviousness of the material. Heavy, bulky, and brittle. So since it is made of clay, the material is heavy and it's bulky. When you transport, chances are it can get cracks on them. So it is bulky, brittle, and so hence difficult to transport. These pipes cannot be used as pressure pipes, like where we talked about cast iron and steel pipe being used, right? In the trunk sewer, in the outfall sewer, where you have the rising main, such places you cannot use this pipe because it cannot withstand that much of pressure because they are weak in tension. They also require large number of joints as only small pipelines length can be manufactured. So when you have smaller lengths of pipelines, the number of joints will increase. That is the advantages of having a precast concrete or an RCC in situ type of concrete pipe, where the length that you want, which is feasible to be lifted and placed, you can build it to that particular size. So that is about vitrified stone. Now coming to the shapes of the sewers. So we will go into detail of this in the next class, but we will just look at this. What are the general shape of sewers? 99% of all the shapes that you have seen would be circular sewers, but those are not the only shapes. We can have it as rectangular, we can have it as oval or egg shaped, you can have it as a basket shape, you can have horseshoe shape, parabolic, semicircular, U shape, etc. Okay, so before coming to an end of this portion, we will just do a quick recap of what we have understood today. Okay, so the first thing we talked about was what pipe materials are being used. Before we decide the pipe material, we look at whether the sewer is a main, a branch, or a lateral. what are the properties that we will look for in a sewer? Whether it is impervious, whether it has got strength, whether it has got resistance to abrasion, whether it has got resistance to corrosion, and whether the material has got enough strength. All these and the hydraulic efficiency of that, the carrying, smoothness of the material will all be looked into. Then we decide the material. Cost is also another governing factor, because every municipality or corporation, depending on their financial situation, they have to decide, because it is not for small pipelines, it is for very large pipelines. Okay, so we will talk about the remaining topics in the next class. So I will be taking the attendance. Abhishek D, Aishwarya.
Present, ma'am.